Hey, welcome back to the Happy Hour Humpday Hangout at the Director's Garage. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael. Looks like we have nobody in the audience. We're coming on much later today than normal. I'm just going to take these off because we've got kind of a good mix going. And that's because I was shooting all afternoon. I had a special shoot to do on the lot at CBS and came right over after, and a little sweaty, a little worse to wear. But hey, we are finally at 4,000 subscribers. We hit that just a couple of days ago. It kind of went over and then it went back. It's like, thought it didn't make it for last live stream, and then it was like the day after it went over, and then it came back for a little bit. it was pretty bad, but it was like, it was kind of funny. And now and then it's funny because it just jumps up like 10 viewers like at once. So it's like it goes like 4,001 and then 39.98, and then like the next thing you know it's like 4,012, and I'm like, well, where'd those 10 people come from? It's very funny. Well, cheers to you all. We were halfway through the week, and that's a good thing. We made it this far. No worse to wear. We got some people coming in. I know we're on at an odd time. We're a little bit late on the uptake today. Couldn't help it. Had work to do. Got to pay the bills to pay for all this stuff. So that's what I was up to. That's what I was up to today. But I was thrilled. We were over 4,000. That's a major number for anybody. And that's Mrs. Director off on the side. She's getting ready to do her dance class as usual, but she's usually leaving at the end of our stream. And now she's, getting here at the beginning of our stream. So good to see you all. Welcome. Got my episode out early this week. Did you like the Tuesday surprise sneak ambush drop in the middle of the day? Because I don't do that very often. It's usually like 7 a.m. LA time, which is 9 a.m. on the East Coast or 10 a.m. on the East Coast. Normally I try to hit that time because that seems to be when everybody's watching and I get better viewers. But I finished it and I'm just shoving it out the door. It's one of those days. But it was a good episode. I was really excited by that episode. I have the Woo Audio WA11 Topaz right here. I got Holly at my feet. He's kind of snipping at my ankles. I don't know if he's going to want to go in or out about a dozen times during our stream or not, but probably. How y'all doing? What's going on? We got ML Jenkins, Daniel Foster's checking in. People are straggling in. I get it. It's hard to get used to an unusual time for us to be coming on. And we try to do this at 3:30 LA time, which is 5:30 on the East Coast, which is a true happy hour. We'd like to do it at the most convenient time for everybody, because then we get the most viewers, and that makes it the most fun. So that's good, but got my Topaz in tow. I've had a week with this so far, and I got to tell you, really amazed. The Empyrean sounds amazing on this, and the 7 Hertz Timeless. I hooked this up. I'm starting to listen to the Timeless again in prep for a shootout episode that's going to be coming, where I'm going to be comparing the Muse Audio Power, Muse Hi-Fi Power with the 7 Hertz Timeless. They're both planers. They're both $200. Both have great technologies, and I wanted to reacquaint myself again with that 7 Hertz Timeless. And man, what a great little headphone for just $200. I mean, it sounds multiples of its cost. Really still is as amazing as the first time I did the review on that. It's interesting to go back sometimes and listen to those and go, is that as good as yeah, it was as good as I remember. It's really good. Really impressive. I was really blown away. Music wise, looks like ML Jenkins has been listening to some Roger Waters lately. I haven't gotten on a Roger Waters kick in a long time, like a really long time. I'm more apt to go to the Gilmore side of things than the Water side of things. But he did do some pretty amazing stuff, no question. Even that maligned pros and cons of hitchhiking, when they both, you remember that in the 80s? Maybe you don't, but in the 80s, in the same week, I think it was the same week or same month, Roger Waters releases The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, which is this kind of avant-garde and offbeat, very strange album with that produced like one hit on it, but it wasn't really a big hit. It was just The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Had the very sexy cover with the girl with the naked butt hitchhiking on the road. I think I still have the album cover. Let's not get a YouTube strike for that. That's a silly strike to get. Oh, Holly wants to go out. 2 seconds. Go ahead, buddy. It's all you. It's all you. It's your world. We're just living in it. But remember that. And then About Face came out, and that was Gilmore's sort of answer. And About Face was a really good record. It's got a lot of 80s staples, you know, like, what would you call them? Like pitfalls, crutches that people fell back, a lot of compression, like way too much compression on that album. But the songs were really well constructed. It's just, it's not the best production, you know? Cheers, everyone. Iced tea today. I'm fresh off. I even have some, look at this. Please call me Smart Water. I was just shooting a little thing for Smart Water. They gave me one. How's that for product placement? So, you know, get the endorsement going early. All right. Yeah, Roger Waters. Saw Roger Waters at Madison Square. You know, I've never seen Roger Waters. And I've never seen, I'm trying to think, I don't think I've ever seen Pink Floyd live. Isn't that something? And they were touring back then, but it was my concert years like coincided kind of with the breakup of Pink Floyd. So I was too young for the Wall. I was only like 11, 12 years old, 13 years old at most when the Wall hit. No, I wasn't even that. I was like 11, and so I couldn't go to that concert tour, which was, you know, by all accounts, amazing. And I think they only played LA and New York. I don't even think they had a Chicago concert. They only did two of them because it was the big, huge production, the one we've all seen, like with the Berlin Wall, when they did the whole big wall production and they built the wall and the whole, you know, little apartment room in the wall, you know, it's like little sets, subsets inside of the whole thing, big huge orchestra behind the wall playing, all that stuff. Just amazing production with the puppets and the marionettes and things flying in. Crazy, like one of the most visionary productions of any concert ever, and I never got to see it. So, but I've seen videos of it, you know, because I've watched that Wall concert, particularly the Berlin one that Roger Waters did so many years ago. But you can still catch. There are still some really bad videos of that concert, the LA concert in particular, on YouTube. You can actually find it. It's really fuzzy and it's not a great watch. It's, you know, you got to kind of like, you know, squint your eyes a little bit, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, the live Berlin 79, or well, the Berlin one was like 99, or maybe it was 2000. It was like to celebrate, because it was like the wall had been down already, and Roger Waters always promised he would bring the wall to the Berlin Wall once the wall came down. So maybe it was mid 90s. I don't really remember. If only there was a device that could tell us when these things happened. I don't even want to look it up. I just got started. Okay, cheers everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. How y'all doing? We got, what have I got for you guys? I don't have much. I don't have much today. I don't have much to say. The episode came out and it's past 4,000, so we'll be doing our giveaway coming up as soon as I can put it together, and I got to shoot a video on it, and that's in itself going to be a chore. I try to production up those things. I showed you last week, and I showed on the video, we're going to be giving away these for sure. This is the Jerry Harvey Audio Jimmy. Very nice $1,300 headphone. These were actually, I'm not giving away $1,300. These were given to me. I won them at Can Jam, and I think I wore them once for the sound check thing that I did, the review, and you know, they're not really for me. They just sit on the shelf. I have so many IEMs. I'm like, I'd rather pay it forward. I didn't. I got these, like I said, I won them at the raffle, whatever the raffle they were doing, and they sent them to me. So I'd rather pay it forward. So there you go. That's the story behind these and why we're giving them away. And what else have I got? Music stuff. I haven't done much music this week. It's been a lot of work. I've been writing a lot of scripts. I had a big shoot today, and I've got another one tomorrow. I'm going to be driving all day. It's really fun. That's what's going on in my world. We've got really, and this has been a fun ride. I have listened to this a bit this week, and I've very much enjoyed my time with it so far. Very wonderful, wonderful amp. I would put this personally, having spent time with it, I think this to me was a stronger entry, not as powerful, but a stronger entry than the Diablo for sound. I think this is next level. This is like Diablo to the next level, little less power, but it's just a great sounding little portable amp on a battery. Have I heard of the TENNMAK 1024s? No, I can't say I've heard that one, Daniel. I've got a big headphone coming up, though. Next episode is going to be a flagship. It's going to be a big one. It just came in about 2 weeks ago, and I've been trying to get it scheduled and arranged and all of that, or, you know, get it in line and get the other stuff shot out of the way. I'll be shooting that in the next couple days. And yeah, not much time for just music. I did a little bit of U2 listening this week. That was going, kind of went back to that a little bit. I haven't listened to U2 in a long time, and I was like revisiting that whole, really that 91 year was so magic, because you just had grunge hit. And everybody was jumping on the grunge train. Everybody was, you know, rocking out a little harder and, you know, putting out, they were trying to grab some of that Nirvana audience, that Nirvana magic. And they're coming out of Headbangers 80s. And now you've got this raw garage sound coming back. Oh, the other group that I listened to this week was Green Day. And I was doing, I don't know what I was doing. I was surfing the web, and I came across some little mini doc on them, and I'm like, oh, I should talk about Green Day, because they were so special in the 90s, and they really were like, they took the grunge sound and they pushed it back to punk, and they, I was like, well, when did they get famous? Because I remember I was working at PBS at the time, and that was a really great time. I was doing a lot of work at the time, just trying to get my career going, and putting hours and hours and hours in, doing all sorts of crazy things. And I remember Green Day hitting, but it was this video that reminded me that it was Woodstock 94 that really was the 25th anniversary of Woodstock, which happened in 69, the original one. And they went back and they did Woodstock 94, and it turned out to be just as much of a logistic mess. And this documentary I saw, Green Day stole Woodstock. Woodstock made Green Day the band that they were completely unknown going into Woodstock, and they did this set that was very much anarchy. They were a bunch of punks. And young punks, and they got on stage and they just started playing, and the mud was flinging, and the band started throwing mud back at the audience, and it became this huge mud fest. And what they became famous because of the big mud fight that came out of that set. At the end of that set, by the end of that set, the stage was clean at the beginning. By the end of the set, it's completely covered with mud. So was the band, their gear, their guitars. I think Billy Joe Armstrong took his pants off at one point. He was completely naked on stage. Like, that's how you get known. This is way before the internet, but some surviving videos. You got a little hint of it on on the live feed on MTV. MTV did the big coverage of Woodstock. Did a lot of the stuff live. I think maybe it was pay-per-view. Maybe it was too early for pay-per-view. I don't remember. But yeah, Green Day, that was the set. That was what made Green Day Green Day. Was they had released Dookie, which was about poo. It's like, look at the front cover of Dookie and like, no question what it's about. And for whatever reason, that was, like their anti-cultural, stick it to the man, we're going to put out a poo album, called it Dookie. And but it had great music on it. That was the thing about that record. It was just nothing. It was like a throwback to 70s punk. You'd swear like they just picked up where the Sex Pistols left off. It was that good. And the Ramones. And they had an interesting lead singer who had a really good voice. And that was really what came out of Woodstock 94, and the rest is history. And they did, in my opinion, pardon me, little parched still from my afternoon of shooting in the sun. They did, I thought, the album of the 2000s, like that 2000 to 2010. American Idiot, to me, was the best album of that era. I thought for impact, for cultural note, importance to music, complexity of construction. I think there were 9 sections of just the second track. It was an amazing collage of musical riffs and tones and stuff. Really interesting record. And if they made a musical out of it and kind of commercialized the hell out of it, which was unfortunate because you kind of went against what the point of the record was there, but okay, but it was that's an amazing, that to me is like the pinnacle of Green Day. They haven't been as good since. They haven't been able to top that record since either. They've done some interesting stuff, but nothing on the level of American Idiot. That was like their peak to me. And Dookie, of course, that debut album was just a sonic boom. There was nothing that album ruled like 94, 95. That was amazing. Just amazing. And I remember I was a little bit on the older side for them. I think I was in my I was pushing my late 20s into almost hitting 30 at that point, and that was a big deal, that record. And the young people who were younger than me, like the 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they were like, that was the shit that year. That was really something. And I think that was just before Cobain died and killed himself. So that was the last, big transition era. And I think after that, once grunge died, we were in a real mess for about 6 years musically. We didn't know what they were doing. That pop rock took over. Remember that pop hard rock with, Hey Now You're an All-Star and Hootie and the Blowfish? Like, just forgive me if you like these bands. To me, it was just dreadful music. It was like we went into a dreadful era, and then the Britneys and the NSYNCs and it was a disaster musically. If you're like a music aficionado, it was, to me, that was we went into a really dark hole there for a while. Even U2 completely lost their way, and they admitted it. It wasn't until 2001 that they sort of recaptured the essence of the band. They put out 2 bad records after Achtung Baby, which was that lightning bolt in 91, which is where this all started, this winding conversation that I'm running you out while I'm waiting for people to filter in and waiting for the comments to fill up so we can start going through those. But I'm just telling this whole winding 90s story and where I was at musically, because I didn't quite understand Nirvana at first. It was just so raw and it was so hard, and I'm like, gosh, it was almost like a throwback at the time. I didn't know what to make of it, and I didn't understand what they were doing musically until their acoustic record came out. And maybe that was just me getting older too. I was I was maturing. I was starting to find jazz for the first time. So going back to a raw, really hard sound didn't really work for me and what I was doing. or what I was experiencing, and the avenues I was opening up to myself, the senses that I was, turning on for the first time, finding out about jazz, because I really didn't know much about it, and there was a jazz aficionado where I was working, and like he was like, no man, you gotta hear this, you gotta hear Oscar Peterson, you gotta hear Bird, you gotta hear these greats. Until you understand them, you're never gonna get jazz. And I'm like, okay. And then later I fell into Louis Armstrong. It wasn't until the 2000s that I really found, and I didn't understand, like Louis was a caricature when I was growing up. He was the funny old guy with the horn, and I didn't understand the importance that he had played, the importance his role was in the history and developing the language of jazz. I didn't start appreciating that until I was like 30 years old. So all this stuff comes to you as your interest. You run into people and they share what's turning them on with you, and you're like, oh, I kind of get it now. All that stuff, it just evolves, and that was like my history through it. Not typical, a lot of people are like in their one lane and they really know that lane, and I was like searching for the next thing, whatever that is. And it was just interesting. Okay, let me hit some of the chat here. Red Hot Chili Peppers played naked all the time. Yeah, they did. Flea was in his underwear 90% of the time on stage, and sometimes not less than that. But great band, and I remember the Chili Peppers from the 80s. Like my first exposure, pardon the pun, sorry, it's so bad, was Free Nelson Mandela. Like they were doing like really political stuff back in the 80s with a different sound, like before they even found the sound that became the Chili Peppers that we all know and love. They were doing some like counterculture stuff, really interesting political, interesting music. So yeah, and they grew up. We all grew up. Daniel Foster says he ran with skate punks when he was stationed at in Stuttgart in the Army. Wow. Well, first of all, Daniel, thank you for your service. Huge, man. You did what many of us didn't, and maybe should have. I looked at it. I was seriously considering. I was going to go into ROTC, the officer training program in college, because they would have covered my last 2 years of college for free. And I thought about it, but the commitment, they wanted a 3-year commitment on the back end, and I had so many plans for how I was going to start my career, and it didn't line up with giving 3 years back to the Army. And there was nothing going on back then. Of course, I graduate, and boom, we're in Iraq. So I was like, well, I kind of avoided that, but maybe, they could have used me, maybe not. But that was a very fast war. That one went very quickly. All right, moving on. JTB, Rangers, dude, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was rooting for you, man. I was pulling for you. The only thing I can tell you is you had a better year than my team. I'm the Blackhawks. Much better year than my sorry team. And I'm a fan. I'm a big Blackhawks fan. I've got I'll show you some of the knickknacks over there. I've got like autographed puck, Chris Chelios, and Duncan Keith, and I'm defense. I love the defensemen. They've always been my dudes. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. Sorry about your Rangers. It's a heartbreaker, though. JTB, and Michael isn't wearing pants doing the stream. It's funny because I don't read, I just look down and I see, oh, JTB's got something to say, and I'm like, oh man, and then it reminds me, I like to read the rest of it, and it's like I'm not wearing pants. Well, I'll show you right now. No, I won't. You're gonna have to wonder on that one. See, this is a Grammy 64. I got this at the Grammy Awards this year in Vegas. That was kind of a little Vegas-y font happening. Very exciting. Yeah, the 90s were the last great rock era. I think the early 90s were the last great rock era. I think it went to shit around 1996 or so. I think it just fell apart. Once Cobain killed himself, it was like you had Soundgarden, I think maybe was the last real new, because I didn't follow. Pearl Jam wasn't my jam. I enjoyed Nirvana and, you know, some of the crazier stuff, the Nine Inch Nails of it all and all that, but Smashing Pumpkins were very original. I still, to this day, they're a band that I pay attention to. I'm not always following them because I don't think that they're as musical as some of the other bands of the era, melodically. And sound-wise, you know, they have a very thin sound. They've never been about, like, you know, great fidelity sounding full round. They have that kind of thinner sound that a lot of bands and I think part of that may have just been bad mastering. Got with some really bad mastering jobs for digital, and, you know, it was an era when they still hadn't quite figured out the mastering thing. But they were visionary in concept. Like, they were a great concept band. They did stuff that was just you know, like, they were out thinking everybody else. That's the best way I can put it. I thought Smashing Pumpkins and Billy Corgan and those guys, he was just out thinking everybody else. He was operating on a more intellectual plane, I think. Wilco too, another guy that was like, he was just, you know, he was reaching for something extra. There was always something interesting, and it didn't always pan out. Radiohead to a degree, but I think their experiments didn't always work. When they hit their highs were amazing highs. But, like, OK Computer was a record that, like, I went back and I listened to about a year ago, and I was like, wow, there's good moments on this record, but there's a lot of just, like, fillery, spacey, like, trying to sound like a computer would be talking back, you know, like communicating. It was like very, like, concepty, but it was very of that era. It does not translate well, that record, to today's music. So yeah. So Daniel Foster grew up playing jazz. He received the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award in high school. Wow. You're a man in full there, Daniel. You were in the Army. You played jazz music. I played French horn. It's like, as a little kid, I was like in 3rd grade. And what did I want to? I took up the French horn. You could take up any instrument you want. I wanted to play the big horn that was big and clunky and heavy, and I had to, you know, haul around with me. I got pretty good at it, and then I quit. I didn't like the discipline of having to do this, and it was one of those things where I was playing it really well, and when I, how do I say this? I don't want to sound, I'm not like this, but sometimes I can do something well, and if I do something really well and I'm waiting for others to catch up, I get bored. And part of it was that I think I was like the only French horn player in the school band. And that meant private lessons with the band teacher, basically. So I got ahead really fast, and I was like 3 books ahead of where the rest of the bands were. And they had to train, like, you know, everybody wanted to play the trumpet. There were tons of trumpet players. And as a result, the trumpet players were routinely lagging behind the rest of the band. And I got ahead, and they were like, I was trying to play and grow and try new things, and I couldn't yet because they had to keep the band together and have us playing the same material. So it was really a frustrating time, and I gave it up. Sometimes I just give up, and that's okay. People can give up. 9 Inch Nails for sure. Yeah, that 9 Inch Nails they were aggressive, man. That stuff was so aggressive. It was hard. It was hard. It was good, but it was hard. It was hard. Good Pixel Productions. That is John Masseria, who gave us. Didn't give us. I'm gonna return this to you, John. Don't worry. Who brought us, sent us. That's better. The JMSE edition of the, and I can't remember these letters. I got the box somewhere there. The HER7DX. This is, guys, this is like alphabet soup. Who does this? Why do they do this to us? The R2D2XHE version, but I love this. This is my favorite thing, and I did this in the show too, but he's this OCD Extreme Stealth Edition. So Good Pixel Productions is JM John Masseria, and he sent these over, and these were really fun. As I said, like, I love the sound. I hate the build quality of this. I mean, it's just springy. But welcome, thanks again, John, for sending those to us to take a listen to, because they were really good. And he likes Vandersteen speakers. I'm a Vandersteen fan, of course. I have 3A signatures in my. I'd love to get, the best speaker I've ever had was at an audio show, and they were playing Vandersteen 7s were hooked up, and I wish I could remember the electronics chain. It was nothing I had heard. It's not a common one, but it was. I know that the turntable. I asked about the turntable that they had. It was one of those big, thick platters, acrylic dealios, and they were playing Stevie Ray Vaughan on it, and Stevie was in the room. It was the best audition I've ever had for any speaker, anytime. But those Vandersteen 7s, I think, were about 50 to 60 grand a pair. And Vandersteen's like you're getting, like, that 60 grand sounded like other people's $100,000 speakers. I mean, it was that impressive. It was crazy. Really good. Tori Amos. Yeah, Tori Amos. God. That's bringing up these 90s bands, and a lot of you all remember that, and that's not my wheelhouse, by the way. I'm not like the 90s aficionado. I don't know everything about every band from that era. I remember the Seattle sound being huge, and I had a buddy of mine who was an avid dude. He was avid editing dude. He was up in Seattle, so he was in the heart of the scene, and he knew all that stuff, knew all those bands up there, and we'd always go out and see him and stuff. I was a little jealous because I was in Chicago at the time, and I was just making my career, working a ton back then. Saw very few concerts other than a few special ones in the 90s because I was working so much at that time. I literally had a 6-day-a-week job at that point, and sometimes it spilled over onto a 7th day, and I was working 14, 15 hours a day. But I was making my bones, I was really getting ahead at that point. And it served me well later on in life. It was very hard for me to have free time to go do some of the more fun things. Adam P. He knows how beloved they are, but every Radiohead song sounds the same to him. One of the very few pop bands he just doesn't like. Top bands. But boy, they're great. Like the Creep and the stuff like that is so, like, that's a song, man. That's one of those songs for the ages. You hear other people do that still today, and you hear every now and then you'll hear a new take on Creep, and it's like, that's an epic number. That's one of those songs you can retire on. You did that, you can pretty much do anything you want, I think. It's like, and the Beatles would be like, well, yeah, okay, that was like Let It Be for them and for the 90s, but then what else did you do? And it's like, well, okay. Beatles wrote like 100 Creeps, all different kinds and different styles and stuff, but it was really good. There's no denying that when they hooked up, they were amazing. I just think that some of it was also like way off the wall and not very good. Sorry. And I appreciate if other people found things that they appreciated in Radiohead. There were things, but the Bends, great album. Just OK Computer, I went back and listened to it and was like, oh, this is dated, it sounds dated, and it doesn't translate well to our ear, I don't think. And maybe you disagree. Victor Ennis said, funny, he's currently wearing an Alice in Chains t-shirt. See, yeah, I all that stuff, the 90s stuff, I've got a bunch of it. And I was still into the Black Crowes at that time. Black Crowes were still cranking out good albums, and I was a rocker. I really did like rock and roll, and it took a little bit of like adjustment for me to get into grunge because I was coming from that rock platform, and my core bands as I was growing up were dying out at that point. Horrible. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. And Jerry Cantrell is an amazing guitar songwriter. Yep, no question. He loves, Daniel Foster loves the French horn. He needs to find a good deal on one. I don't know if I could play it still. I'd probably be pretty bad. Not something we're going to do on the live show. I would not make you suffer that. Amazing. And nice of me to cover indie makers like John Massari. Yeah, and I've never done mods. Like, I've traditionally not done mods. The moddiest thing I ever did was really change ear pads, because I think that those make, you know, huge differences. I've never, you know, there was all the mods for the HD 800 when they came out, you know, the thing with the blue ring and you put the glue and the thing, and I'm like, you know, if I got to do that to like the headphone, I don't know. Cheers, everybody. I wish I was drinking harder stuff today. I literally got off of work and got home, turned on the computer, threw on a fresh shirt, and lit the candle. Had a very slow start. I'm sorry that we're getting on the air so late today. I was working all afternoon. I had a big shoot on Park Street at CBS. We had a big, it was like I had big, huge 12 by 12 silk and 4 800Ks and 2 cameras, and like it was a big deal. We had a big, huge shoot out there. And I was sweating all day, and we had clients involved. So it was a you know, you got to bring your A game on days like that. So I had to think a lot. Maybe I'm a little fried out now. But yeah, John, and I told the story. I just watched the last episode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we introduced these. John sent me a pair of these. I just got to get him to do something about my Dan Clark Audio Ether CX closed. That's a headphone that needs your help, John. Desperately. Okay, yeah, cheers, Pixel. Thanks, man. Everybody's jumping on board. We all got your back, Pixel. And what, by the way, what a deal on these. I think with his mod on it, I think it's a $150 headphone. I think he's selling for $250 or something, $265. Maybe he'd cut you a deal if you said you know him through show. And it's really not good. I don't want to get on the political bend a little bit, but he got head-fied the same way that I got head-fied. And I respect, head-fi is a valuable resource. There's no question about it. And it certainly is the control of our industry. But he's getting a little bit of head-fi nonsense over there. So go visit his website and support him. It's on the last... John, if you're out there, put your website in the comments, because I don't have it handy. I'd have to go look it up on my comments on my feed. I don't want to do that right now. But yeah, give yourself a little plug on that, because these are, even if you don't like them, you're not out that much money. It's worth a listen. Like, get the experience of it. My biggest complaint on these is the build. It's like, John did a lot with a headphone that clearly Drop did not bring their A game to make. So good stuff. Michael, special announcement, sir. Nephilim81. He's getting a WA22. You and Adnan are gonna be brothers in arms. It's so sweet. It'll make me cry. That's so beautiful. God, that's a great amp. That's a great amp. We've been drooling over it for 2 weeks here at the Director's Garage. Yeah, that's fantastic. Good for you, man. So he can accommodate the amp in his sound chain properly. He'll be getting the amp next month. Wonderful, man. You're going to be drooling for a couple of months, and but man, when you get that Woo product, I'm telling you, I mean, even this, it was everything. And I got the amp down here. I just can't show it. I don't have the ability to get over there and let you see it. But everything about these Woo products, Jack, that company, just they over-engineer everything, and God bless them. Just fantastic. Cheers to Woo, because they really know what they're doing over there. And what I love about this hangout, and I know there's not a ton of us today. There's, I think, 17 or 18 of us right now. And it's not, so it's not the hugest thing. And I'm coming on late, and it's kind of throwing everybody off a little bit. Probably have a little trouble finding us today. But, which really is great, because I got a nice viewership on for yesterday, and then I come on late today. Screw it all up. I did a nice plug for the live show in yesterday's show. But what I really enjoy is, like, I don't know if you guys, you know, it just feels great that one guy says he's getting a new amp, and you got 3 or 4 other guys going, man, that's awesome. We are a really good community here. I really like the vibe that we do on this hangout, even when we're just shooting the shit about 90s, bad 90s rock, or good 90s rock, depending on your perspective. Just awesome, man. Congrats on your amp. You're on your way, man. You're on your way. You're not going to be disappointed. That's not an amp that will, that'll let you down. And it's got some great features to it too. There's good reasons to like that amp. I almost picked one up a few times. And my shoot tomorrow. I've got a shoot tomorrow. I'm going to be driving half the day. It's misery, guys. Misery. Going all the way where the heck is Ladera Ranch? Oh boy. Apple Maps. Please save my ass. That's where I'm going tomorrow. I just got a little text message, which I probably should thumbs up so everybody knows that I saw it. There you go. Got to do the thumbs up, fellas. Do the thumbs up on the stream and subscribe to the Director's Garage while you're at it. It's my little plug. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. And we try to make it worth your while. Victor Ennis says he just discovered me on the last stream. Well, good. Welcome. Helped me make some headphone ideas. Helped you with some headphone ideas. Yeah. Just purchased a set with an amp. Hope it turns out great. He went with the ZMF Atrium. Great choice. Haven't heard the Atrium yet. Would love to. And the Felix Audio Echo 2. I'm not familiar with Felix Audio. I am familiar with ZMF. And the early reviews on the Atrium, there's not a lot out there on this headphone yet, which is kind of cool, because it means that it's still fresh to a lot of people. You're going to get to hear something. Hopefully it gets to you soon. There's usually a lag on ZMF stuff. But, I mean, the pictures on the Atrium, ooh. It's, let's start from the perspective of ZMF makes maybe the prettiest headphones on the market. When you look at their stabilized wood stuff, when you look at their regular wood stuff, they take such care. I know that I didn't appreciate, at least at the time, the open back forgot the name of the headphone. The big open back, fellas, from ZMF. The Verite Open. I know I didn't totally appreciate it, but the build on that was amazing. It was a beautiful burl headphone with copper inserted plate. I mean, it was a stunningly beautiful headphone. There's no question about that. And they know what they're doing over there. And enough people have chimed in about, with some love for ZMF headphones. They got it together over there. I don't think... but where are you at in the thing? Just give us a little update, Victor. Tell us how long it's going to be before you get them. Because I'm interested in what the lag time is right now on those things. Nephilim 81, he's prepared to make himself nuts with True Brawl. That's part of it. That is part of it. It's also part of the wallet killing aspect of it. My next episode is a wallet buster coming out. I don't want to give away too much on that. It's going to be a big episode. I like doing the big episodes. I don't get to do them as often because money, inflation, $120 to fill the gas tank. Yikes. We're at LA is at $7 a gallon, guys. Ooh. I don't want to dwell on that because we're here to kind of get away from that. That's the reason we come in here. But so see, my fuel tank is eating into my headphone money, and it's not a good time. I'm not happy. Victor Ennis, how do you like the A-Trim? Well, sounds like he hadn't gotten them yet. But A-Trim made himself every other headphone. It's seriously that good. Adam Cardos, that's good news. That's good to hear. So, yeah. JTB is dogging the relaxing background music. Or digging. I like dogging. You could dog the back. Dogging, man. We're just dogging it. That's such a jazz term, too. All those cool jazz terms from the pot-smoking dudes. Something I never got into, by the way. I'm sorry. I know people think this is heavily medicated. It's not. This is just normal. Wood build Nephilim 81. The Woo build quality is exceptional. His final choices were between the Cayin. Great. There's nothing wrong with Cayin. I just think there's something a little extra special about Woo. Cayin makes good stuff. I have the N8 here. I bought that. Moon Audio, Dragon Inspire. Yeah, Moon Audio, good stuff. There's a couple of companies that I think they really do. You know, there's something a little extra special. I think this is one of them here. The head amp. I think that they do. There's something. The tolerance is just a little bit tighter. You look back here, and I know I don't want to mess up my music stream, but back here is the blue Hawaii behind, and you just switches are a little more precise. The tiles feel a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like there's just something about them. There's a level up when you get to a certain level of gear, and you know when you're touching something special, when there's something special in your hand. So it's good. So yeah, the Woo 22 just won them over, and it's easy to understand why. I mean, you just go to that website and it's like sex appeal, right? Yeah. JTB, yeah, finally made 4K. I covered that at the top of the show, and I thank everybody for helping with the subscribers. It was a very unusual ride to 4K. I've had jumps, big jumps, and the biggest jump was when I did the big mega shootout, and that tells me that, yeah, I should probably keep doing big mega shootouts, because people just come in and subscribe like crazy when I do that, and that's great. But it was like we were at 3999 last week when we did the live stream, and after the live stream I dropped 2 people like it's like the wrong way, and I'm like, I guess that live stream sucked. It's really funny. And then I went to 4001 or something, and then it dropped back again. It went back under 39, and I'm like, oh my god, this is giving me like schizophrenic trends. I'm just gonna not look. And then it was funny because like a day later it was like at 411. And we're still like in the teens somewhere right now. So it's like it jumped 10 like that. It's so strange how that all works on YouTube. And I don't know if like YouTube is constantly checking for like bad, dead, like bots or whatever, like fake accounts or something. And maybe they're doing corrections along the way. Maybe that's why it drops. Or maybe I just do people like actually listen to what I say and like, oh, I don't really want to subscribe to this anymore. Who is this guy? Get him off the air. So yeah, let's go to 5K. Well, that's the plan. We got to keep growing. And I do think most of these YouTube things, it's like you're gonna get to sort of a critical mass point where you're gonna jump big numbers. Like you're gonna go up a few hundred viewers at once. Like you'll do that when you get to a certain number too, because it builds on itself. The key for me is to keep uploading and uploading frequently, and the frequency of uploading for me is the hardest thing to do, because I don't shoot myself like this and jump cut around the screen and piece a sentence together. It's like I really do craft what I do, and I enjoy doing it, and I don't want to do it another way. So, but that takes time. It's 4 days in post for every episode, pretty much 3 to 4 days, depending on what digital trickery I'm throwing in, for fun, just to amuse myself. If it amuses you guys, I get a kick out of it. That's all that matters in the end. I gotta please myself. I gotta live with me. Adam P. trying all the Woo amps at Can Jam New York City this year, and Can Jam Chicago is coming up this weekend, I believe. I'm not going to get back there for it, even though it's my hometown. It's just not happening. I got too much going on. Trying all the Woo amps at Can Jam this year. The highlight was the Abyss and the Woo Audio WA33. I thought that pairing was really good. I thought the Woo 33 was really good with the Susvara when I heard it. But I'm telling you, like, my favorite pairing at the moment, period, I think, is the Abyss 1266 TC and the Ferrum stack with the Hypsos cranked up on power to like 27 volts. There's something about that pairing that's extra special. Like, it's great. And the other thing that I keep saying this every week, but the other headphone that I just keep falling deeper in love with is that as the Meze Elite. The more I listen to that headphone, the more I realize I don't need a lot of these other headphones, especially the open backs. It's pushing a lot of other open backs to the back row, and it's tech, and I'll give people say it's technically inferior to blah blah blah, but it puts everything together better than these other headphones. I still think that if I'm still looking for the ultimate amp for the Susvara. I don't think I've found it yet. I don't think, and I've tried a lot of amps in here, and I still don't think I've found the answer for the Susvara. And there were some people on the stream. I tuned in Saturday. It's getting bad because Andrew's running his stream starting at like in the afternoon lately. It's too late for me, so I can only like pop my head in because I got stuff to do on Saturday. Saturday's my only day off, really. Sunday is usually trying to get some physical activity in so I don't turn into Jabba the Hutt, although I'm trying. So I'm trying to get do like a big hike on Sunday. So Saturday is like my day to work and get stuff around the house done. And if he does it earlier in the morning, I can tune in and I can stick around. But anyway, I was tuning in and somebody was saying the Susvara they were doing spicy takes, and somebody said the Susvara is boring. And I'm like, well, I hope not. Like, it's a headphone I happen to own, and it cost a fortune. Susvara is boring. I think it's got to have the right amp, and I think I still haven't found the magic amp combo for that. And yes, I've tried it with the different power settings on the Ferrum audio stack, and that's the best amp I've had in here yet. Truth. I love the Woo stack, but the Ferrum is done the most magic with the most different headphones. I love that Woo amp, and I'm going to be with that Woo amp until to bury me with it, I think, or I'll will it to one of you guys. Whoever subscribes. No, I don't know. But the Woo amp, I can't get rid of it because it's too expensive. And I saw somebody just put a WA5LE up on eBay for $4,000, and I'm like, if I only got $4,000 out of that amp, I think I've got close to 10 in that amp. Oh, $6,000 hit. Okay. So much fun. Okay, let me get back into here. This is when we push them to stardom. Yes, everybody push me to stardom. Tell your friends, tell your family, but keep them real. We want real people here. It's more fun when the thing of it is, it's like, yeah, I could just rack up numbers, and it could be just a numbers game for me, but it's better that we've got an active community. You know what I mean? Like, we've got a bunch of people hanging on who hanging out with us who are interesting folks, and give me my little number of folks that are all interactive and we're friendly and laughing with each other and joking at our own stupidity to buy something, and or congratulating each other when we finally get that next thing that we've all wanted. Give me 4,000 of those people over 10,000 of people who just they happen to click in once in a great while and don't really care. It's like, it's kind of more fun this way when we've got this kind of grassroots thing going. It means more to me anyway. I hope it means more to you, because I get to know you guys through I haven't met you in person, but I now know we all share little things about ourselves, and JTB and his Rangers and stuff. It's like, that's the cool stuff. And Adnan with his WA22, and Adnan, if I don't know if you caught it, you heard it or not, but Nephilim 81 is joining your ranks. He's getting a WA22, just like you guys got to exchange notes and email addresses and stuff. Send each other tubes to swap out. It could be fun. Yes, so fantastic. It really means a lot. It's great. Very much Adam P. He's talking about the listening to the WA 33 with the Abyss 1266 TC Total Consciousness. JTB has already closed. He'd consider getting a stabilized atrium. Yeah. Verite closed is on my list. I just gotta get the money together and find the pair that I want. I saw there's a purple version that went up. It's just too expensive. $2,700 he wants for it. I'm like, it's not going to happen. I don't think so. The sales on that headphone are more like $2,200. It's like the ZMFs, the resale on them, they take a big hit. And they're not alone. It's not. I'm not singling out ZMF. There's a bunch of these headphones that they pay so much out in front, and to actually sell it, you're gonna have to take a big hit. That's just the way it is. It's hard. Michael, he'd send me mine, but he sent it to a buddy to poison him. Rest in peace, friend. Adam, which are we talking here? I got to go back. Which headphone was that? Too funny. I assume maybe we're talking the atrium. That's great. That's great. And I lost I totally lost where I was at in the feed. I got to start moving down this because it's going to be a 3-hour run. Although I like that we got a lot of viewers today. It's good. Everybody found us eventually. Cheers, everyone. Happy Hump Day. Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout at the Director's Garage, the 4-H Club. Those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome. It's a big tent here. It doesn't matter if you love MQA or hate MQA. Nobody's going to judge you for it. It doesn't matter if you're an Audeze fan or a Hifiman fan or an Abyss fan. It doesn't matter if you like your cables, if you think cables make a difference and they don't. Whatever. I don't care what side of the cable. It's a big tent. We're just all hanging out and having a good time and talking about music that we love. We did a big 90s thing at the beginning of the show. Those of you who missed it, the last episode that dropped yesterday was I call it an ambush episode because I got done with it and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3:30 or something. And I'm like, now every good instinct is to hold this episode for 7 a.m. on Wednesday. And I'm like, nope. Sent it. It just went live. Went and got my COVID test, came back and watched the chips fall where they may. But this was on it, the WA11 Topaz. Very, very impressive. I was telling everybody, it's the pairing that I've been going with on this is, I listened to the very good on the incredibly impressive on the Empyrean Elite, the Meze Elite 7 Hertz Timeless. This is a really good pairing. A really good, and I know you're talking, take a $200 headphone and shove a, $1,000 signal through them. Yeah, it better sound pretty, at least pretty good, but this is righteous. I'm very impressed with this. And I'm starting to listen to those because I want to do a shootout between the 7 Hertz Timeless, which is my kind of class bang for the buck leader right now, and the Muse Audio Power, Muse Hi-Fi Power. I want to do that shootout because they're both planers and they're both the same price. So it's going to be an apples to apples comparison, and can't wait to get to it. That's going to be coming up. That's probably 2 episodes down the road. The next one's going to be a big, huge release. Some headphone you all have been talking about, and it's a big one. It's a major outlay of cash on my part. Probably not very smart, but I can't wait to show it off. It's going to be really exciting. Very exciting. And that's coming up in the next episode. Have not shot it yet. I did write it, though. I wrote the episode. So it's just a matter of me executing. Probably won't be able to shoot it today or tomorrow. Probably going to shoot it on Friday. It'll drop next week. that's where we're at in the production schedule cycle. By the way, one thing I should mention too, and I do this because they've been a good friend of the channel, and they'll probably have something in the next giveaway to hand off to you guys. Linsol right now has a big sale going on, and Lillian Dang over there has been fantastic to the show. First person to ever like give me the time of day when nobody else had to. She reached out and said, "I saw your show. I think it's funny, and I wanna I wanna help you out. I want to send you some stuff." And she did, and she's routinely not asked for anything back, and I've routinely passed that forward to you guys for free. I don't take anything from these folks. If they're going to show me generosity, I'm going to show you generosity. That's how it works. So I pass along. The only headphone I have kept were those pink polka dot ones because my wife fell in love with them. So she gave me back the headphone she had been hoarding, which was the Clinical Dusk from Moondrop, the Blessing 2 Dusk. She had been hoarding those because she loved the way they sounded, and she thought they were really attractive. But when she saw the pink headphones, she stole the pink headphones. I don't even remember who made them, but I just remember the pink polka dots. She was all over them. She's like, "These are mine." I'm like, "You can have them. I'll give them to you." I don't think any of you guys wanted the pink polka dot headphones. They were cheap. They were like $150. So, yeah, but I pay all those forward. Linsol has a big sale going on. It's their summer clearance or something, and they've got some deals going on over there, and so I will send you over there. There's a link below. Supports the channel. Appreciate that. You don't get a discount at Linsol, but you do have the comfort of knowing that you're supporting the channel while you're going to get a product for buying something, and you're going to get a discount because they got a big sale going on. So head over to Linsol, use the link below, and the thing, and shop to your heart's content. They've got good deals and great prices over there. Very impressive, and surprised how fast something from overseas will get to you. It's like this turnaround sometimes is better than if I order something from the East Coast in the US. So very cool. And then Audio 46 is, of course, our other partner. I'm doing my little spiel that I do once an episode. Director's Garage at checkout, all one word, knocks an extra 5% off most of the items they carry. Head over to there. There's an affiliate link below, and those guys over there have been, they're just amazing. You know, it's like I order something and it's there right away. They ship fast, free. Tony over there is just one of the best human beings, you know, really just and solid. Like, man, they're reputable. All these folks, they just want to give you a great experience. They love what they do, and it shows. Okay, Victor and Ennis has not received them yet. Yeah, he hasn't received his Atrium. So yeah, let us know. Keep us posted. You know, great headphone, great new headphone. It's clearly, I think that the Atrium is the headphone that most people are talking about of the new stuff. I think that it's the kind of the sheen of the big fall Audeze releases and the new stacks and all that has sort of died a little bit. The hubbub over those, and I think that ZMF really has the thunder of the spring right now. They've got the hot headphone. That's the headphone everybody's talking about. Seems to be the one that everybody wants to hear. So yeah, cheers to you for ponying up the money, buckling in. Victor, we envy you. Okay, have we checked out the Audeze iSign 20s? You know, they had it. The i4 is the one that I want to hear. The LCD i4. Is that the? I forget. I might have it, but it's the planar. It's the big planar from Audeze. And I've been watching for a pair of those. That's a pair that I do want to review. It's hard because, you know, it's like I can go back to these other headphones, but most of y'all want to tune in when I get something new. Like it's a hot headphone that's, you know, people want to know about. So it's like if I go back, and it's a dilemma I'm forever facing, like, because I want an LCD4 in-house. But I'm still going to pay $2,000 for that. And if I'm paying out $2,000, shouldn't I be looking at something new? Just for the sake of the show, to keep the show interesting. I don't know. But I still want the LCD4. And you all have told me, go get the original 4, go get the OG, don't get the 4Z. So taking that advice, at some point we'll get that in here. So yeah, but I do have one indulgent thing coming in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be really fun. Leave it at that. Okay, cheers. I got a little burp. And then we'll catch up in the chat. And y'all are chatty today. Holy gosh, you're carrying the show. JTB, because the state of the world, because of the state of the world, I'm guessing with gas prices and inflation, Michael will be the $35 Dora the Explorer headphones from Target for a while. Maybe. We laugh because it's funny. We laugh because it's true. Too fun. Are you back?
Are you still live?
Yeah.
I'm just leaving now. Our dance class got later and later.
Oh, because it's staying on. Yeah. Miss Director leaving for a dance class.
In the park tonight.
No dancing in the dark. That was a good album. Bruce Springsteen, right? Born in the USA. It was his big sellout album. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. But I liked it anyway. I don't care. It was very, very 80s music, though. Such, like, it's funny because Bruce is...
Lovely people at the director's garage.
They're all saying goodbye, baby. It's funny because it just a little Bruce tangent. His 90s, his 80s stuff sounds more dated than his 70s stuff. Like, if you go back, listen to Badlands, listen to Born to Run, listen to even the early stuff that sounds a little raw, like, Asbury Park, and then listen to the 80s and late 80s stuff, the Tunnel of Love and the Born in the USA. It's like, that stuff sounds dated. The 70s stuff sounds still fresh. It's kind of interesting. Rosalita, all that. Holy God, man, that dude, he had a run. Still has a run, kind of. It's still pretty good. Adam P. Adam P. has had the iSign 20s for years. Very unique sound. Absolutely needs EQ. Dialed in. They're incredible. They're awkward and an uncomfortable fit. Well, that's going to be a deal breaker for me. The comfort level on in-ears is even more important to me than the comfort level on over-ears. I can live with an over-ear that's uncomfortable. An in-ear that's uncomfortable will make me claw them out of my thick noggin. 20 minutes in, I'll be pawing at them to get rid of them. It's really hard for me to keep an uncomfortable side. The Odins were misery on my ears. I could not get comfortable with that headphone. Okay, the iSign for a while definitely doesn't listen to them without the Reveal plugin to EQ. Okay, I still haven't tried the Reveal plugin. I haven't had time, and I should, because I've got a couple of headphones now here that will actually use the Reveal plugin. The LCD5 and the Carbon both do not support the Reveal plugin. Like, there's no preset or whatever for it. Adams United! Cheers, Adams. WA33 has been a chubby maker for the last 8 months. ML Jenkins. I just read this stuff, folks. I probably shouldn't. I should probably do an advanced screening, but I just got to go. It's been a drive to make his 2-channel system better. That's been eating all his income. Yeah. Well, the WA33 is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous amplifier. I would buy it, but I have the WA5, and the WA5 is a great, great amp. Is it as good as the WA33? No, but I can't afford both. So, and I'm going to take too big of a hit on the WA5 LE should we actually move to get rid of that someday. So maybe I'm never going to say never, because things happen, and maybe Wu calls me and says, hey, thanks for all the plugs of your WA11 Topaz and the WA5. We'd like to cut a deal with you and put you into a WA33 as long as you put it up in the background and we can see it in the background of every show. That's the dream, folks. That's the dream. Is it too much to ask? Shameless. Yeah, and Nephilim81, you guys are wonderful, and thank you for your friendship here. Yeah, it's a lot of not, I watched Andrew on Saturday, his hangout, and it's so technical, and it's so much, it's like the information is so, and I'm like, I just want a place where we can all like be ourselves and be friends. People take each other's heads off in the chat. No, there's no hill worth dying over in the audio world, yeah, it's great. And it's great that, we can all cheer on your WA2, your WA22. And, yeah, I mean, we can all cheer it on. That's the best part, right? Cheers to you, Nephilim. JTB says he thinks many YouTube reviewers basically bribing the audience with giveaways to get subscribers. Well, and that's a YouTube no-no, and I think that that's what got somebody in trouble and banned. You can... I didn't know this, but YouTube looks at hinging a giveaway on subscribing to the channel, making that a requirement, is a form of payment, which makes the giveaway a lottery. And a lottery is a no-no, folks. That can be a felony. Believe it or not, it's a violation of interstate commerce. So you can't hold a lottery, and I think that YouTube sees, they don't tell you don't do a giveaway, but you can't do a giveaway behind a paywall. That much I know for sure. You can't say, hey, if you become a member to the channel, that will give you access to the giveaways. Big no-no. That's a huge YouTube no-no, because you're now causing somebody to basically buy a ticket to have a chance. Chance is another key word to a lottery, and to have a chance at winning the prize. Prize would be the third element. You have to have pay for play, chance, and prize. Those are the three elements to make up a lottery, and that's what YouTube sees it as, and they think that they're violating. So I didn't really follow it that closely until it became a thing, and some folks got banned, and I started looking into what maybe was a trigger. Couple triggers. Not going to get into it that deeply, but I never wanted to make it never wanted to predicate giving you a chance at something cool on like making you have to subscribe. Like, frankly, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. You know what I mean? Because we got a good community, and we've got a lot of friends, and we got a lot of people who jump in. We've had 57 people in and out today. That's pretty cool, and growing for a channel with as few subscribers as I have. So I mean, I know guys who have 50,000 subscribers that'll get 50 viewers. Like we're pretty good. We're a pretty tight community here, and I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. Like, why would I make you do that to get a chance to win something that I'm giving away anyway? It's not worth it. So yeah, I don't know why I got onto that roll. JTB. Oh, it's because JTB's thing. So get it done, love that puppy, and roll. Yeah, get it done, Neff. Cheers. The audio. Rodrigo, how you doing, buddy? RMJ, Susvara or Utopia? Well, I would say Susvara for me. If you're asking. The audio got disconnected. No, I'm still going live. I better be going live. If I'm not going live with audio, somebody's got to jump in here and say, dude. It's just you, Rodrigo. Oh boy, I'm way behind. I got to catch up. I feel so bad. I've never had this many people chat before. Susvara or Utopia? Yeah, Susvara for me. I think that the technicals are just too great on it. I still love the Utopia. I think the Utopia has a great... guys, I talk about headphones a little differently than some other people. I look at how does the headphone make me feel? Does it bring me closer to the music, or am I aware that I'm like playing it through something, and like there's that, am I aware of the technicalities of what's going on in the process? And if it all melts away and I'm connecting to the music, that's a great headphone. Utopia is a headphone that does that. Susvara is a headphone that does that really well. I just think I haven't found the right combination for the Susvara yet. I think the Susvara's got more like crazy goodness to them. I just got to find it. I got to find the right amp. So there you go. What was it? Nephilim. Sorry, I'm eyeing a little too much. Don't dude. Just talk. What he really looks forward to is trying to use his WA22 as a preamp on his solid-state Burson amp. Oh man, you're getting into the weeds there. Nephilim's a wild man. You've gone crazy, dude. Adam Pete's an amazing hobby. How much we've come in 10 to 15 in the hobby. Yeah, less than $1,000 and you could be totally set. Grab an HE6 V2 and $250 remote Tiva amp and you're 85% there. Yeah, I don't even think you need that. I think you can have a good experience on an $85 IEM and a halfway decent player, or just out of the computer you already own. The Moondrop Aria is a very nice sounding bargain basement IEM. Does it give you everything that the, going up to the $200 level in the Timeless give you? No, but it's a really good experience. So is my little class leader from down there, which is the Thieaudio Legacy 2, which is a $100 headphone, two drivers, a balanced armature and a dynamic driver bass, and boy does that. You're hard pressed to. You got to push long and hard to get away from. That was really bad. You have to seek a headphone a lot higher at a lot higher price to touch that thing. $100, and it's a great experience. And they're getting better. Like the headphones are getting better. These Hifimans, if they could just work out the build quality, they're delivering really good sounding headphones for very little money. Hifiman in particular, just the build quality on these 7 and the 9, the R9, the R7 are just, they just need to up that build quality a little bit. Burson, which Burson? We're talking about Nephilim's solid state amp. Polish amps, yeah, solid state is really special when done right. Yeah, I think any amp can be special. Got a number of good options here. The Gixxer Mark II. Great solid stater. JTB says, Sound News said the Burson Soloist 3XGT is a really good amp for the Susvara. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've also heard that the Faramore stack is fantastic for the Susvara. What I really want to get for the Susvara, I'll be honest with you, I want to get the Bakun. The Bakun 13R is the one that seems to get the most consensus as the end game for the Susvara, but it's a $6,000 amp. So you're going to buy a $6,000 amp as a one-trick pony because it's overkill for everything else. So, there's that. You and Adnan are going to have to go bowling together. Yeah, you guys, you're going to go bowling and rolling. You need to go tube rolling together. Daniel Foster is like swapping OP amps. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun when you get together with your friends. Adnan's discussing already his Headfi username is his real name. He does plan to do something similar to your plan. Yeah. Adnan still needs to hear his first ZMF. Somehow that's eluding him. You'll get to it. They're all out there. I don't know. Like ZMF. I don't know that I'm like if that's my ultimate. I liked it. I thought it was good, but we'll see. It didn't. The Verite open back didn't necessarily do it for me. I definitely ran to the Susvara or to the Utopia at the time. The Utopia outshined it to me. Both dynamic drivers, but you know, like I said, I didn't have a lot of headphones under my belt then, so maybe I'd have a different appreciation for them now. I've said that a number of times. Sundara, yep. ML Jenkins, you're missing out on Zach's stuff. Yeah, you know, Zach's stuff is fantastic. It looks beautiful. No question about that. No question about that. Adnan has a passion for Sound Lacton's interesting blind test on audio. I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm going to take your word for it. But I will say this. Do you want something, you know, like a hot take? Or you want something that's a little controversial? I'm not afraid to say something controversial occasionally, and here's one of them. I think that most reviewers are afraid to do a blind taste test. They're afraid to listen to two things blind and have to pick which one is which out of it. And they won't do it because they're not going to get it right most of the time if it's truly blind and on the up and up. I think it's true. And I'll tell you myself, a number of times on my show that I've said, I doubt I could pass a blind taste test. I mean it. I mean, I think that a lot of this stuff is so close. The blind taste test is the only way you're ever going to answer the cable debate. And I'll tell you this, I was talking to who? Who was I talking to? I was talking to the guy that built the reel-to-reel, and we were having a conversation about cables, and he said, back when Monster, maybe I told this story before, but you know, I don't know, I'm an old man. Allow me my foibles. When Monster came out with their first gourmet cables in the late 1980s, early 1990s, the guy who had worked on my deck, my reel-to-reel deck, went to an audio show. They contacted the guy, and they did kind of a shitty thing, but it was a clever thing. And they contacted the Monster guys and said, hey, we're going to bring in our own cable. Can we put our cable up against your cable in a blind taste test and see what people think? Which one sounds better? Like, and just see, does the Monster really outperform a different cable? And they said, yeah, we'll be down for that. We'll do the experiment. Even if it shows us up, we want to see it. So the guy shows up to do this blind taste test, and he brings a coat hanger with him. Not kidding. A wire coat hanger, 2 of them. And he unspools them, and he mounts his coat hanger on a post-to-post, and they do a back-to-back listening session with the Monster cable and the solid wire coat hanger. And the audience in the blind taste test picked the coat hanger for better bass response. A blind taste test is the only way to really do something fair. But you got to have people that can really mix it up, and you can't cheat. And most people are afraid that their ears are going to be deceived. And my ears get deceived occasionally. The Muse Hi-Fi Power, it's around here somewhere, right here. So I've got handy this headphone. I've reviewed this, and I just dropped something on the floor. Don't know what it was. I did not pick up that it was a planar right away. And in fact, when I did it, I kept the price guess wrong because that was fun. But I actually had cut for time. And a lot of times I just leave it in because I don't care if I'm right or wrong. It doesn't matter to me. I have no shame. But I guessed wrong. I didn't know it was a planar. I had guessed that it had a dynamic bass driver, and then I thought it was electrostats up top because it was so sharp on the top end. And it turned out it was just a planar, a solid planar, and got it wrong. And I was blind because I just plug them in. I don't fake anything on the show. Like, I open the box, I put the headphones on, I plug them in, and I listen to them, and I tell you what I think while I'm listening to them. And then I gather my thoughts and listen to them for 2 weeks, and I come back and I do the sound check. And that's sort of the way the show goes together. And yeah, that's the way I do it. So what you see on the you know, I do cut stuff out to make the thing not painfully long and make it somewhat interesting to watch. But yeah, that's what you get. You get what happens in the room. But most people, I think, are afraid to take a blind taste test. They don't want to find out that they don't hear things as well as they think they hear things. And they certainly don't want their audience to know that they don't hear things as well as they think they hear things. Yeah, Linsoul's cool. Great place for cable. Yeah, they have like their $50 cables are like some of their cables rival some of the best stuff I've gotten from like Effect Audio. Like, and I'm like, I got an 8 braid weave for like $100. Yes, please. Solid silver cable, silver plated cable, whatever. Yeah, totally. Give me that. Passion for sound. I got to try and catch up here. Passion for sound is more as a subjective reviewer. Yeah, I think that I'm a subjective reviewer. I don't think that I'm, you know, I like to think that I hear things pretty well because I've been in the business for so long and I kind of know what to listen for. I don't always get it right, but I think I have a, you know, like people haven't come back to me often and said that I pushed, you know, a headphone like the 7 Hertz Timeless or the Kinera Nanna and the, you know, or the Noble Audio Sultan. I've had people say that they liked something else better or whatever, but they haven't said you have really bad hearing, like you really don't know what you're talking about. So I like to think that I have a fairly good ear, and I can pick stuff up, and I get more stuff right than I get wrong at this point because I've heard so many things. But it's not to say I don't get it wrong on occasion. But yeah, I like to think I'm more of a subjective viewer. I don't go into I tell you what I think of the detail, and tell you what I think of the soundstage. I know more about soundstage today than I did when I started. I used to get soundstage wrong all the time on my early episodes. I think I've got a better handle on it now. That's just experience. He's not without his biases, though. I try not to have bias, but there you go. But good guy, though. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that I've listened to Passion for Sound's stuff. I don't know who it is, but there are good reviewers out there. There's a lot of good reviewers out there, and it's a big tent. And I don't go. More the merrier. You know. I think we all like to watch this shit. We do. We like to. I wish I had more time to devote to watching some other people's stuff. The stuff that's running longer, I don't watch as much anymore because I don't have time for it. I really don't. Black Sabbath's Master of Reality for the first album he listens to on the WA-22. You're going for it, Nephilim. You're going for it. Hey, I'm getting to the bottom of the stack. It's great. Audeze B stock sale is live. Oh, good to know. I you know what? They sent me a link today, and I clicked on it, and it went nowhere. So I'm like, maybe they didn't have the link straightened out yet. But you know, I'm a fan of Audeze, and I'm becoming a bigger fan of Audeze the more time I spend with them. ML Jenkins, no problem. Just personal level, seems like a legit guy. Feels like he'd be better written content than on video. Voice side. I don't know who we're talking about, so I feel bad. I'm sorry, guy. Okay. I don't know you, but I'm going to appreciate that other people like what your show is. All the good stuff is sold out. Where? On Audeze B stock? Oh, okay. I went to the link and it was dead. So I don't know what happened. Hi, Michael. Do you have any way he can test detail in a headphone? Test detail? No. I don't think there's a measurement for detail. What I can tell you is I can steer you to stuff that is highly detailed sound-wise. I can steer you to like last episode, Hugh Masekela Hope. Get a good version of that. Get the DSD 64 version of that, and you're going to have an album capable of producing significant detail. Los Lobos Kiko, find an excellent, but you got to find a good mastering, and that's half the battle, because there are some masterings that they just wash the detail out of the mix, and it's a muddy mix, and you don't get that detail that the album is so great for because you have the wrong mastering of it. So mastering is a big part of the battle, and there are bad versions of good albums out there. Evidenced by one of the things I was listening to in the last episode, U2 Octung Baby. I don't think there's a definitive mix of that out there yet. There's not a definitive digital version, and that was a digital album. That was not an album that was mixed for analog. It was mixed for digital. And there's not a definitive. They had a 20th anniversary album of it, and I haven't heard, maybe I haven't heard it all. Spam risk. No, you can't sell me an extended warranty for my car. 8 calls a day for that, folks. JTB says the Utopia. So just a final detail is something that you can't measure. It's something you have to listen for. And the more headphones you listen, the more you'll pick up detail and what good detail sounds like. Go to Can Jams. Pardon me. Burp. Cheers, everybody. We're winding down a happy hour hangout for a Wednesday. It's a late happy hour. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. It's bedtime for you bastards. Cheers. Yeah, it's a detail is something that you have to just acquire. You'll hear it. You'll begin to hear it. And I still don't, I'm still learning. Every single headphone teaches me something. Teaches me something about myself, something about how to listen. Just keep listening to different stuff. Find friends, go to swap meets, listen to as much as you can, and find good masters. Find good masters. The source is just as important. If you start with a garbage source, you can put the most detailed headphone around on it, and you're not going to be able to hear the detail because you got a bad master. And it's like, and still, I get into the first listens, and I'm not impressed sometimes because it's like, oh, you're listening to an old, master from 1991 that was done digital or analog to digital, really bad mastering job. And yeah, it's going to sound awful. I'm like, oh, let me go to this other one. So I went to the MQA version, which rocked. It was great. Is MQA still 100% not lossless? Yes, but it still sounds really good. And that's all that matters. Okay, JTB, he had the Utopia for a day, and they were probably the most disappointing top-of-the-line headphone he's ever tried. Maybe it's amp dependent. It is a little amp dependent. It's tricky. It's a tricky. I like the Utopia on a tube. I think they're an ideal tube headphone. I think on the wrong amp. They can be a little painful. Yeah. I think there's a lot of headphones that would fit that bill. So, but they're still a really good headphone. They're a really good headphone. And on the right combination, they came in second in my shootout. I thought they're still a very well-rounded headphone, and they're really good for a lot of different genres. I think that the Elite to me means more these days, and it's just from time spent with them. They bring so much to the table. The Elite has grown on me significantly in a way that I never expected them to, because I have better technical headphones here. But very few headphones I have put together the full package. The full package. And by the full package, I'm talking about comfort, tuning, technicals, ease to drive. Don't underestimate ease to drive. It's a headphone that can sound good if you plug it into this, if you plug it into this, if you plug it into that, if you plug it into that. They sound great across the board, and they don't need a ton of power. That's hard. So hard to do. So hard to do. And world-class comfort. World-class comfort. Listen to those things all night long. You're never going to get tired of them. They just feel like a cloud, like you're wearing a cloud. Unbelievable. Unbelievable achievement with the... It's like they just took the great base starting point of the Empyrean and they brought it up to a level that's kick-ass and can rival the others, although maybe not surpass. And with all the other things that it does so well, it's the ultimate package right now for me. It's like the ultimate, like, yes, I have better sounding stuff, but it's the headphone that I reach for because it does so much so well, and I can listen to anything with it, and it sounds good. Anyway, rant on Meze. It's a positive rant. HD 600, 99% done. HD 600, good headphone, no question. That's what started the madness with Adnan. Well, that started for me. It was the HD 650. I got the HD 650 and I got a Woo WA6. And I screwed myself royally because I decided to, like, oh, if this is this good, what is this HD 800? And oh, I get the HD 800, oh, this WA6 can't drive this HD 800. I need a bigger amp, WA5LE, and on and on and on, until I got a YouTube show and I'm boring you guys to death. All right, Daniel Foster. When the Russian-Ukraine is over, he wants to buy a pair of Verum 1s. Have not heard the Verum 1, and I hope the war ends. I hope the war ends, and nobody needs war. Adnan, JTB says Adnan, he'd take the HD 600 over the Utopia. That's... I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. The detail on that Utopia is so good, and the slam, it's got great bass slam. Okay, but it is a great headphone, but there's no question about that. I just wouldn't take the 600 over the Utopia personally. I respect your opinion. One headphone he never sold. It's awesome. Love the coat hanger story. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's it. He's building a coat hanger system. That's it. That's all you got to do. Wine blind taste tests where everyone liked the cheap $25 wine over the expensive $1,000 bottle of wine. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think there's something to it all. And we're going to end with JTB. We've got to start wrapping this up because I've been on the air for over an hour and a half. That's a long time for this face to be anywhere. There's something to be said for a good all-round headphone. Yeah, it can be a pain-switching headphones for different genres. The Verite Close is just all-rounder. JTB, I just want to tell you, that's a headphone that is on my short list. It's been a definitely a headphone that I want to hear. It's just getting one. You know, I got to get one. And I got to find one for the right price. And I've come close a couple times, just didn't quite make it. So let's start wrapping. At least we didn't run out of music today, so we're not that bad. Get the outro music going. Thank you guys for stopping by. I know it was a late day today. I know it was later than normal, and we'll be back at our regular time slot next Wednesday for sure. It was an hour and a half late. I had to start late because of work, and that's the way it goes sometimes. But we did it, and we're here, and we got to hear more. We got to hear about Nephilim's brand new WA22. Dude, he wins the day. He wins the show. We got to see Adnan. Like, they're going to be best buddies now. You just know it. They're going to be emailing each other tubes from across the globe, wherever you guys are. And we comforted JTB in his moment of need. His Rangers went down. What a great show. What a great show. So enjoyed spending some time with you guys today. Tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out. Thanks for coming by our happy hour hangout at the Director's Garage. I hope you guys were drinking beer. I did not today. I was not in the beer category. I am going to break out the Guinness again soon. I think that might be next week if something happens. If I don't have a big work day, that's the goal. Got a big show coming up next time. Please, guys, tune in for that. Don't miss another episode. And thank you guys, really, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Really enjoy. This is like the moment of the week. It's really just like the place we can all come in and blow off some steam. And I enjoy it. And I'm going to see you guys before you know it.